Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us today. I am Nin Desai, and I will be your host. Let's start with my background. I started my professional career at Merrill Lynch with their private client group. At Merrill, we manage portfolios of high net worth individuals. While it was great to trade stocks and bonds, I was always curious about how these companies went public. Thus, after business school, I joined Pacific Crest Securities. PCS is a tech-focused investment bank with a global presence focused on software, communications, semiconductors, and internet and digital media. Here are a few transactions I worked on at PCS. In 2005, IPOs were at the peak, and it was amazing to take all these companies public. But that led to another question. How do VCs know what companies to invest in and which ones to take public? Thus, I joined Alpha Capital Partners. Alpha is a generalist fund with about $135 million of assets under management. My most recent transaction at Alpha was SIRCON, a software-as-a-service provider company. On April 2, 2012, President Obama signed into law the Jumpstart Our Business Startups Act, or the JOBS Act, which enables crowdfunding for all Americans, and that's how NIN Ventures came into existence. NIN Ventures is a first-of-its-kind technology venture capital fund to be marketed, raised, managed, and reported online. The general solicitation and general advertising under the JOBS Act and Rule 506C of the U.S. Securities Act made it possible for us to raise this fund. This rule came into effect September 23, 2013, and we became the first ones to go live with a website and video about our fund. NIN Ventures also became the first venture fund to be seen on a billboard, which was followed by in-taxi ads and other social media facilitated marketing. Now a little bit about the fund. What is NIN Ventures Technology QP Fund? We are a next-generation technology venture capital fund that would invest in Series A and B rounds of disruptive technology companies. We write checks anywhere from $1 to $5 million based on the industry, sector, and stage. NIN.VC has been the recipient of numerous awards, and I was also awarded 2015 CEO of the Year Illinois for innovation and contribution to the venture capital and private equity industry. Before I dig into today's agenda, I would like to make a statement and say the best entrepreneurs and companies almost always get funded. I would like to repeat that. The best entrepreneurs and companies almost always get funded. And it all starts with a disruptive technology. A disruptive technology is an innovation that changes an existing industry and creates a new value network, displacing earlier technologies or ways of doing business. Just like how we are changing the venture capital industry. With crowdfunding, NIN.VC managed to add a new LP base to a venture capital asset class, and with general solicitation rule, we added a new distribution network that is the new age internet marketing. Every sector at some point is up for disruption. Our focus for 2016 is primarily on virtual reality, cloud computing, financial services, education software, 3D printing, fourth industrial revolution, and other path-breaking sectors within the United States. Our goal is to invest in the next big trends within these sectors. I highly encourage referring to my previous and upcoming CIO review articles for more color on this. At NIN.VC, we start with an entrepreneur. We invest in an entrepreneur because entrepreneurs build companies and not the other way around. Being an entrepreneur is the hardest job in the world, and entrepreneurs face varied challenges when it comes to taking their disruptive technologies to market. The few attributes that we look for in an entrepreneur is the ability to dream big, experience and expertise in their industry, ability to communicate with the team and outside, flexibility to adapt to a fast-changing environment, and certain personality traits like being focused, dedicated, disciplined, and working hard to accomplish their goals. As long as the company has certain ingredients like a good management team, a disruptive technology, a viable product, and a revenue-generating strategy that form a basic foundation that leads to long-term success. We at NIN.VC like to invest in companies that are going to stand the test of time. Thanks to the Jobs Act and Rule 506C, if you are an entrepreneur raising capital currently, you have options. You can choose to work with a venture capital firm or go the crowdfunding route. The crowdfunding industry has gone from $16 billion in 2014 to an estimated $34 billion in 2015 and is doubling or more every year. The market is flooded with various types of crowdfunding options like donation, reward, lending, equity, royalty, and even hybrid versions. The two most popular types of crowdfunding methods are reward and equity. For reward-based crowdfunding, entrepreneurs pre-sell a product or service to launch a business, sometimes in return for gifts or thank you notes. For example, Pebble Technology used Kickstarter to raise $10.3 million in order to develop the Pebble watch and pre-sold it to contributors. For equity crowdfunding, the backer receives share of a company, usually in exchange of the money pledge. For example, Neil Young used crowdfunder to raise $6 million in order to continue development on Pono Music. If you're an entrepreneur that is just looking for financing, crowdfunding is a good option. However, if you're looking for someone to add value to your business, NIN.VC and venture capital is the way to go. VCs not only provide adequate financing, but also lend their domain expertise and network of partners to help companies with recruitment, PR and marketing, and a viable exit strategy. You can also choose to go the hybrid route, where you have the combination of a venture fund and a crowdfunding platform syndication. At NIN.VC, we have various such arrangements in place. NIN.VC has the best of both worlds from the entrepreneurs and investors end, making it the best of the funds US according to the Wealth and Finance International. Given NIN.VC is a crowdfunded venture capital fund, it allows for diversification. And given crowdfunding allows for direct investment and direct returns, it's making NIN.VC the best alternative option currently in the market. In general, most people have three-dimensional portfolios, that is stock, bonds, and money market. If you look at Harvard and Yale portfolio, they have a four-dimensional portfolio, which is taking the long-term approach and investing in alternatives like venture capital. This long-term approach and investments in alternatives helps true diversification and also mitigate the risk involved in having only a stock and portfolio. Now the question is, why venture capital when you can invest in other asset classes? Historically, if you look at US Venture Capital Index and S&P 500, you'll notice US Venture Capital Index tends to outperform S&P 500. And not only that, they have an inverse relationship. This is generally applicable to other alternative investment as well. So now the question is, why early stage technology venture capital? If you notice, since 2002 to 2012, technology investments have dominated the venture capital industry, and the highest amount of venture capital funding occurred in the early to expansion stage companies. If you notice, from 2004 to 2013, sector-focused funds tend to outperform generalist funds, and technology sector has outperformed the rest of the US venture capital index, with early and expansion stage companies yielding the highest return. So how can you be a part of entrepreneurship with NIN.VC? Recently, the SEC approved Title III Jobs Act equity crowdfunding for non-accredited investors, which allows any US citizen, regardless of income, to make direct investment via a crowdfunding portal. However, investment in fund like ours is still limited to accredited investors. One must be an accredited investor and verify themselves as an accredited investor before they can invest with NIN Ventures Technology QP Fund. An accredited investor is an individual with an income of more than $200,000 per year, or a joint income of $300,000 in each of the last 2 years, or has a net worth exceeding $1 million, either individually or jointly with his or her spouse, excluding the primary residence. For an entity or trust, anything in excess of $5 million qualifies. There are multiple ways to verify if you are an accredited investor. For individual, it's income, asset, or third-party verification. For an entity, it's third-party verification and asset. So what are the multiple ways of investing at NIN.VC? There are a wide range of options when it comes to investing in NIN Ventures Technology QP Fund, using checking or savings accounts, defined benefit plan, self-directed IRAs, and digital currency. A defined benefit plan is a retirement plan that can invest in a wide range of securities and investment products, including venture funds. Some of the advantages of investing from a defined benefit plans are all contributions made to the plan and subsequently invested are top-line tax deductible to the business, whether the business is C Corp, S Corp, PC, LLC, LLP, or a sole proprietorship. The investment growth is tax deferred under the umbrella of the defined benefit plan. The contributions might be significantly greater than that of the 401k profit sharing plan to help increase the retirement savings account for the business owner. To invest in NIN Ventures Technology QP Fund using your defined benefit plan, you must first sign up on NIN.VC, verify you are an accredited investor, establish a defined benefit plan with Robin Weingart & Associates or a provider of your choice. Once the plan is established, the contribution is calculated, and you can complete the subscription process, followed by payment on NIN.VC. We also let investors invest in our fund using their retirement plans. For example, self-directed IRA. Self-directed is a descriptive term that is used to describe how some IRA providers administer the assets they hold. With a self-directed IRA, the client controls their IRA. Self-directed IRA allows to hold alternative assets within their tax-deferred benefit plan, such as private placements in venture capital. Like any IRA investment, self-directed IRA has built-in tax-deferred growth, and thus an individual will not pay capital gain taxes on the growth of the investment. The return will flow back to the self-directed IRA and will not be taxable to the account holder. A self-directed IRA allows for true diversification that is otherwise not achievable in the standard IRA portfolio. To invest in NIN Ventures Technology QP Fund using your self-directed IRA, you must first sign up on NIN.VC. Again, verify you are an accredited investor. Establish an IRA account with Interest Group or a preferred provider of your choice. Once the plan is established, you can complete the subscription on NIN Ventures website, NIN.VC. Digital currencies, for example, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, are emerging as a new form of alternative payment and global currency. We at NIN Ventures understand the significance of this change and thus have teamed up with Snapcard to let digital currency owners tap into venture capital. We allow digital currency owners to obtain liquidity via Snapcard in return for investments in the NIN Venture Technology QP Fund. Now let's go through the investment process step by step in detail. The very first thing is to go to NIN.VC, sign up. Sign up is as simple as first name, last name, email, password, and acknowledge that you are an accredited investor. Once you sign up, you get access to our marketing materials, that is PPM, investor presentation, and other suggested readings. You get invited to attend our events and calls like this one. You can also schedule a one-on-one meeting with us at our office or online via Skype. Once you decide to make an investment, accept the risk and disclosure statement that will explain what venture capital investing is. The next step is to verify accreditation. Once that is in order, it's only a matter of filling out a subscription document and a W-9 form. The last step is payment, and it is as simple as selecting the payment method and the amount you wish to invest. Please note, venture capital is a high-risk, high-reward investment vehicle, and we strongly recommend reviewing other suggested readings on our website before making any investment decisions. Unfortunately, we are short of time for questions today, but feel free to reach us at contact@nin.vc or 312-953-0930 to schedule one-on-one meeting or if you have any requests for additional material. Thank you for being on the call. Have a wonderful day and happy investing.